Hello and welcome to another tutorial in Python. Today I'll be showing you how to create the menu widget using TKinter. In front of you is the menu widget. It's this grey box here, and what you have here is menu 1, menu 2 and menu 3, and these can actually be programmed to either have a drop down, so when you click on menu 1 it drops down, or when you click on menu here on each one of these items here, it will actually perform an action. So it can either be a function with a command, or it can be a drop down list leading to many other functions. So let's get started. Here we have our code, and what we're using is TKinter, and as always, if you see many of my tutorials, I always import TKinter with the alias of TKR. For me, it's the easiest thing to do, and it's shorter and quicker for me to write. So what I've done is I've imported TKinter as TKR. I've also created the main screen by typing in tkr.tk and capital T, small k, and then open and close brackets. I've also made a title for the main screen by typing in main screen.title equals menu widget in quotation marks. And now we can get on to real good stuff. And then there's tkr.main loop at the bottom. And now we can genuinely get on to the good stuff. So if we now create our main menu by typing in tkr.menu with a capital M, this will create our main menu for everything else to go into. And we can put that into our main screen by putting in brackets in the menu function main_screen, and it will put it into our main screen that we created above. And I've given that the name main_menu. Cool. So the next thing we can do is we can go to the bottom and we can just, similar to the pack and grid functions that I've shown you, with the menu function, you need to configure it essentially. So if we type in main screen, and here, one we've created for everything to go into, .config, and in brackets type in menu equals main_menu, we can now configure it before we actually activate it. Cool, so we're now ready to go, and we're going to go ahead straight on to create our menu 1. So if we type in tkr.menu again with a capital M, but this time we're going to link it into our main menu here we created above rather than our main screen. If we type in then tear off equals 0, that will fix it in its position. Now tear off is a function that allows you to essentially pin and unpin your, in this case, menu, and you can have it as like a sort of floating sort of list or drop down going around, or function, rather than having it fixed in place. But we want this fixed in place and pinned in there, so we're going to put tear off equals 0. If you didn't want that, you can put 1. You could also use true and false as well, they also work. The next thing we can do is we can specify whether we want it to be a function or a drop down list. In this case, we want it to be a drop down list, so if we type in main menu .add_cascade, that add cascade makes it a drop down list rather than a button or something you press, which then does a command. And then within the add cascade function, if you type in label equals and then menu 1 in quotation marks, we've now given it a label and specified a title. And then we also, if we type in menu equals menu 1, we've also linked this cascade to this menu 1 option. The next thing we can do is we can now add some items to this cascaded menu, to this drop down list, because at the moment it'll be completely blank. So let's just add some items in there, and so these items will be commands. So if we type in menu1.add_command, this will now add commands within to our menu drop down. So if we type in menu1.add_command and then label equals, in this case, menu1 item 1, then here we typed in comma, and then command equals, and let's type in sub menu callback and then close brackets. Then if we do the same again, add a second command, This time label it as menu 1 item 2 and have the same submenu callback. And then if we run this, I can now walk this through with you in case you got a bit confused. This is because we haven't created our function yet. So if we go up to the one above, here we need to create our function. So if we type in def space submenu callback, submenu underscore callback, then in brackets, and put in a colon and press enter. And then below that, type in print, and then in this case, submenu selected, and then exclamation mark in quotation marks. What will happen is when you click the command in the submenus, this submenu selected exclamation mark will appear. So now we'll run it, and we can see here that we have our menu 1. So if you click it, drop down items will appear. Now, the reason why I've waited this long to show you this is because otherwise, right up until this sort of last line of code, you pretty much won't see anything. So let me explain to you what I've done here in this sort of more visual sense. So what we've done is we've created our main screen here. This big box here is our main screen with the title here, menu widget. And then our main menu here is this whole bar here along here at the top. And then what we've done is we specified the menu 1 to be a cascade. This is our add cascade here, our menu 1, labeled menu 1. And then this add command here, menu 1 item 1 and add command menu 1 item 2 are these sort of items within this cascaded drop down menu. Cool. So now let's go ahead and do exactly the same but add menu 2. And pretty much we've done exactly the same. tkr.menu, linking it to the main menu page here. Tear off equals 0 again. We've added a cascade as well, kept it a cascade. And we've added some items as well to this cascade, except these are menu 2 item 1 rather than menu 1 item 1. And menu 2 item 2 rather than menu 1 item 2. And we're just going to be using the same submenu callback for each of these sub items. Cool. So if we run that now, we will have 2 cascaded menu items here. Menu 1, and menu 2, same again. And just to prove that the callback works, if we click on here and click on there, these callbacks work. So menu 1 item 1, submenu selected. Menu 1 item 2, submenu selected. Menu 2 item 1, submenu selected. Menu 2 item 2, submenu selected. Cool. Now I did say that these main menus can also be commands. So let me show you that. If you type in main menu.add underscore command and give it a label menu 3, then type in command, this time menu callback rather than submenu callback. And we can just create our function, very similar to the one before, except it's called menu callback and its print is main menu selected rather than submenu selected. We can run that and we can see here that we have our menu 3 is actually a callback. So if I put this to the right, we can click menu 3 and we see main menu selected. But also we can have all these submenu functions still work. Pretty cool. And so that is an introduction into creating menu widgets using TKinter. Hopefully this will add another string to your bow when it comes to GUI projects and sort of softwares that you want to create yourself. One final thing I do want to show you is you may be thinking, how does this help me? What can I use this for? Well, instead of saying menu 1, menu 2, menu 3, what if I put, I don't know, file, and then instead of file, we have, home and then insert as well. Let's say menu 2 is home, and then menu 3 is sort of insert. And let's say menu item 1 is save. Hopefully you can begin to see where I'm going here and how this can be applied. And save as ... And then home, we basically essentially, this is how we can sort of create these sort of lists up here. So we have sort of insert home, draw file with our sort of drop down list. This is very high level. People, the engineers at Microsoft, have been working for ages and years developing this. But this is sort of, how this sort of lists are created, how you get your sort of drop downs and stuff. So I hope you've enjoyed that introduction, and then feel free to message me with some other ideas or some other widgets you want to know. Just message it below, and please do subscribe and tell anyone else who you feel may benefit from this, from my tutorials. Please let them know about this YouTube channel, and I hope to hear from you again in the future. Thanks very much for watching.